I wanted to take a minute and address the Coalition of Religious Communities. Thank you for all that you do. I want to start off by saying how important freedom of religion is and freedom of assembly. Our great Constitution is the oldest and shortest document in the world, and it's the greatest because it protects our inalienable rights, those rights that come from God, our Maker. Government should never infringe on those. And I know from the studies that I've done that faith-based organizations help people. And they help people that attend religious services and are involved in religious organizations have far more social upward mobility than those that don't. So I want to thank you for what you're doing to help our citizens and to help our communities. I also understand the importance of separation of church and state. We need to make sure that that continues in our country and in our state, while simultaneously working together to help those compassionately that need our help the most. As governor, I want to do that, working hand in hand with you. I want to get to know you better, and I want to know how the state of Utah can help you create that great upward social mobility that we're known for as Americans. So I was sent some questions, and I'm going to read them, and I'm going to answer them for you. I want you to know where I stand. As a candidate for governor, Thomas Wright will always be transparent with you. I'll always answer your questions, and I'll always have an open door to meet with you to discuss any issue that's important to you. So here are the questions that were sent to me, and I want to thank you for taking the time to put them in writing, and I wanted to be as thoughtful answering them as you were putting them together. Number one, during this time of crisis, many Utah families are very concerned about the price of food. Should our state find a way to completely eliminate the sales tax on food during the next 4 years? I am the only candidate that put an economic recovery plan together, and in that economic recovery plan, it's on my website, wrightutah.com. It's called Jumpstart. Just click the Jumpstart button. I called for the suspension of the sales tax on food during the pandemic. And it was only a suspension because I was looking to do something quickly to give tax relief to the less fortunate in our society who are struggling to make ends meet. Maybe they've lost their job. Maybe their business is in trouble because they've had to close. We needed to give that tax relief. I'm disappointed that it hasn't happened, so I called for the suspension. But I also have said as governor, I will fight for elimination of the sales tax on food. If it's wrong to tax food at 4.875, which was in the tax reform bill that was repealed, it's wrong to tax food at 1.75, which is where we are right now. Governor Wright will do everything he can to eliminate the sales tax on food by working with the legislature. Number two, Utah is currently experiencing an unprecedented spike in unemployment insurance claims. What can state government do to prevent that spike in unemployment leading to a surge in homelessness? Well, we have a homelessness problem in our state. And the last thing we want to do is contribute to it right now, especially with our hardworking citizens. That's why, again, ironically, in this economic recovery plan that I put out a long time ago, addressed this as well. We need to make sure that we look at our unemployment insurance and we look to refine it. I'm very uncomfortable with a couple of things there. We should have looked at the unemployment insurance package before and made changes before we needed to do it. But now that we're in the pandemic, we need to look at it and immediately make some changes. Number one, we should not be taxing unemployment claims. We don't help people just to tax them on it. That's number one. Number two, we need to make sure that if you're unemployed, you are not disadvantaged or disincentivized from getting a part-time job. Sometimes getting a part-time job and earning a little bit of money disqualifies you from the unemployment insurance. And so you need this big unemployment insurance amount, so you don't want to work part-time and eliminate it. We should be allowing people to add on to the claim, to get back out and have the dignity of work and not have to worry that if they made too much, they'll lose their claim. That'll help them get back on their feet. Number three, this state and national emergency has shown how important it is to make sure everyone has access to health care. What can we do to make sure Utahns who need care during a pandemic have the ability to get that care? Well, I can tell you right now, we need to make sure during the pandemic that there's tax relief and services provided to citizens. I'm a compassionate conservative. We have great healthcare organizations in this state, and we can partner with them during critical times and times of national emergency like this one to make sure that nobody's going without, especially those that have lost their jobs, those that are losing their businesses, or those who are unable to afford care. I don't have a very specific answer on this, but I will tell you that I will work with our healthcare organizations. State government does have a responsibility to help take care of people who can't take care of themselves, especially during a national pandemic. Number four, news stories about federal stimulus payments being seized from low-income families by debt collectors highlight the role predatory lending and debt collection practices can contribute to homelessness and food insecurity. What can the state do to limit harmful lending and debt collection practices? This is something that I want to learn a lot more about. But let me tell you, it goes back to the unemployment. We don't help people with an unemployment claim and then tax it. It's the same here. We don't want federal stimulus money being used as a predatory practice against people who needed the money to pay their bills and support their families. So I'll look into this with you as governor. I wish I could do that right now. I wish I was the governor right now and we would do that. But I'm very uncomfortable with predatory lending practices, especially when it hurts people when they need help the most. You have my commitment that I'll look into that. Number 5, this pandemic has disproportionately impacted low-income people and communities of color and reminded us that racism and income inequality are still problems in our country. What can our state do to reduce health disparities and improve quality of life for low-income people and communities of color? There's so many things that we can do, but the first one that comes to mind is education. We have the ability in our state to help our children reach their potential, and every citizen in the state deserves a high-quality education, one that allows a child to meet their potential, their God-given potential, so that they can succeed and thrive and be happy and have a family and provide for their family. We need to make sure there's equity in educational opportunities. We have intergenerational poverty in our state. We need to make sure that we're looking at creative ways to make sure that those students come to kindergarten on grade level with their peers. Because when they don't, they tend to fall behind and they never catch up. So there's all kinds of things that we can do. I've been involved in projects related to this. I feel like I have a good grasp of this topic, but education and economic opportunity is the driver to get people in low income and in poverty out of poverty. I understand that as governor, and I want to create those economic opportunities for everyone in Utah, not just a certain group. Thank you for taking the time to ask me these thoughtful questions, and thank you for allowing me the time to answer them. I hope you found it educational about me and about my candidacy. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to call me directly on my mobile phone number. I'm the only candidate that gives it out, and I'm not going to change it when I'm elected governor. It's 801-652-5700. I want to listen, I want to learn, I want to be a part of the solution to the problems that our country and our state faces, and as governor, I'll always do that. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and I hope you have a great day.